So, a little bit of looping. So, I'm guessing everyone out there has, seen or heard a little bit of what's going on today. It's a huge day for HeadRush, and it's a big product announcement. So, I'm Brian here with HeadRush, and I'm really excited to announce the new product called the HeadRush Looperboard. This is the most powerful looper ever made. It's mind-blowing to me. I'm already seeing other people getting mind-blown. So, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take you on a big tour of the HeadRush Looperboard. We're going to cover it from top to bottom, left to right, and then feel free to ask questions. I'm going to be fed questions to me, or to my computer, I should say. So I'm going to be happy to help answer any of those, and then we're going to do a little looping. So let's get it started. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to give myself a nice clean slate. So when you take the Looperboard out of the box and turn it on for the first time, this is what you're going to see. You're going to see this view. We call it the timeline view. So I'll dive in a little bit in that on detail, but I'm going to cover the controls, I/O, and everything first. So let's get it started. So left to right, you're going to see at the top, you're going to see your master volume control. You're going to see your phone's control. You're going to see your aux input. Easy volume controls. Makes sense to me. Over on the right here, you're going to have your inputs. 4 gain inputs. So those control the 4 inputs on the back, which are dual purpose inputs. They can take quarter range, can take XLR. Then you jump over here, you get your big encoder knob. This is really great for doing things like with the tempo. If you really want 75.670 or something like that, you can make fine-tune increments just really easily. Down here, you get your master section. So you get your start-stop all. That is for starting or stopping all your tracks at once. Next to that, you get your effects. When you tap on this, this opens up the effects section. You get 4 racks here. This is something I'm going to dive in a little deeper as we get into it. Down here, you get your function button. This is great because when you tap on it, it opens up all the secondary features of all the foot switches. And you can see what those are by either looking at the orange letters or words that are on the Looperboard, or you can look right at the screen. And on the screen, you're going to see 8 blocks. These 8 blocks are going to match identically or perfectly with the 8 foot switches right below. So you can control things like speed, pedal, bounce, fade, things like that. And then next to this is your tap tempo. This is an awesome, huge feature for the Looperboard. So let's say you got something, screaming along at 200 BPMs. You got all these crazy waves and layers going, but then you want to do something crazy and slow it down, or maybe like you have something in the song that just slows way down with the whole band. You could do that. You could just slowly just tap it in, and you'll see with the BPMs at the top just change in real time with that. And that's going to time stretch and tempo change everything perfectly with it. It's amazing. And then, of course, hit the function button and hit this, get your tuner. Don't leave home without it. Perfect, big, huge. You can see exactly what's going on. Then over on the right-hand side, you get your tracks. You get tracks 1 through 4. You can see them here, 1, 2, 3, 4. You get 4 independent tracks. These could be stereo tracks. Top row is your stop and undo. Bottom is your record, play, dub. But it doesn't stop there. So I'm going to dive into a little bit of detail here. So just like you've seen on the pedal board and gig board, we get the ... menu, where it opens up things that you can get a little more in-depth and edit. If you go to global settings here, on this first page, you're going to see hold functions. So you see start, stop, and the next to it you have undo, clear. You could turn these top foot switches, the secondary feature on and off, for holding it down to either undoing. So what that would do is undo everything you did from the very last time you hit record, or you can just clear. So let's say you got a bunch of layers on there, you just want to completely get rid of everything. You can hold it down when it's in that clear mode, and it'll delete everything. And the same thing is for the record, play, dub. You can either turn these into appeal if you hold down that foot switch. So like you may remember from the gig board and pedal board, it's got the appeal function, which is amazing. So let's say you got like 15 layers there, and you just want to take them off one by one. You could assign these foot switches to be appeal, or just like it says, a clear. So you can hold it down, clears everything out completely. Pretty cool features. And then, of course, the most amazing part, I think, of all of our HeadRush products is right at the top, you're going to get that big, beautiful 7-inch touchscreen. So with this, obviously, you get amazing feedback of what your tracks are doing, what you're looping. You can see your waves being made in real time. But also, it gives us the power to have all these menus and effects and features that you can literally just change with the touch of a screen. It's pretty incredible. So speaking of screen, I'm going to dive into the screen and the different menus and functions that we have here. So like I said, when you first turn this on, you're going to see this view, the timeline view. So I'm going to open up a session I already have on here so you can see kind of the details it gives. So bam. So this is something I already made, already created, because I love looping, and you get these huge waveforms. They're great. So, you know, you can see where your loops begin, you can see where they end, see where you are in it. So no other looper's given you functions like this before. So when you're in a live situation, you can look down real quick and just be like, perfect, I know exactly where I am. I know exactly when I want to hit the foot switch again. Amazing feedback. At the top, you know, you get your tempo. You can also pull this down, and kind of like on pedalboard and gigboard, you get your kind of save loops, you know, rigs, but here they're loops. Over here you get your track names, so you can double tap on them, name them whatever you want. And then down at the bottom here, you get your loop modes. So let's talk about this. This is amazing. You get 5 different loop modes. You get fixed, serial, sync, and free. So if I'm in fixed mode, the way it's going to work is once you create your first loop, all other loops after that are going to be the same length as that loop. But what's cool is that you can hit record, playback, stop, overdub at any time during this loop. Serial is really powerful for creating a kind of verse, chorus, bridge type of songs or loops, where you record one loop and then you can record or play back on other loops when that first one stops. So like I said, you can record one loop and just keep layering on that. You get like, cool, I built up a really big verse. And then you're like, all right, so I want to start building up my chorus. You can hit on another one and it will stop that track and only play what you're playing back on that second track. So sync is a very popular looper mode, I should say, that you can see across all loopers out there. The way it works is when you record on one track, all other tracks are going to stop, playback, record once that first track loops back around. So it keeps everything perfectly in sync in terms of a playback mode. And here you can stop, playback, record only once when that first track loops back around. And then we got serial sync. So obviously it's going to be very similar to serial, but here you can record, playback, overdub on 2 different tracks at a time. So if you want to create kind of more bulky or robust like chorus, verses, bridges, you could use this mode to do that. And then we have the almighty free mode. So this is no rules, just go crazy. You record, playback, overdub anytime you want, create different track lengths at any length that you want. It's great for probably like ambient dudes or people that just want to loop for ages and ages and ages and just lose themselves. Go for it. So let's take a look at the top here. We got different menus up here. This one is what we call the meter page. So I'm going to turn this volume down real quickly just so you can see the feedback and not being blown away by all the loops I have. So if I hit start, you're going to get instant feedback of the volumes of the track that are going there. And what's great is that you can just drag this down, drag it up, and change the volumes of the tracks that are being played back. And then also, you can double tap at the bottom, rename the track, do whatever you want there. Next, we have the mixer screen. So this is another super powerful tool that you can find on the Looperboard. This is very similar to kind of what you're going to see in a DAW, where you can also change the levels of that track. But at the top here, you're going to see panning options, where you can pan things left or right. And what's really neat, you can double tap on them and pan it this way. Or if you want to make really fine-tuned adjustments, you can use the encoder knob and do it that way. It's amazing to have a looper that does this because, you know, in the past, to me, with loopers, it's not really a lot of like panning or stereo control. Some loopers are close to that, but with ours, you could create all the space you need for your layers. So let's say you're making a loop that's like 15, 20 layers deep or more. And, you know, on older loopers, like once you start really getting thick into there, things can get mushy. There's not space. Here, it's just like a DAW. Everything can have its perfect space, and it's amazing. Next, you get your click track controls for volume and pan, and also your backing track controls. We're going to dive into these a little bit in just a minute. Next screen is your effects. So we're really happy here that our Looperboard, with the amount of effects that you can have at one time, you could have over 30 effects going at one time. Nothing even comes close to this. And I'll dive in a little bit here. So I have a section open here. You can already see I have lo-fi effects and some vocal effects. And if you want to edit those, you can tap on here, create anything you want. Or if you want to create a new effect, just tap on the plus, and then you're going to see these icons come up, 6 different ones. So things for vocals, guitar, lo-fi, dub, drum, and studio. You know, obviously if I have a mic connected, I'm like, man, let's see what we got for vocal effects. Tap on the preset. You got a ton here, or you can back out, close it, and then you can really customize any effect you want for that sound. You could be like, oh, I don't want any gate, or just turn everything off. Or like, I really just want some crazy pitch effect. You could do that, and the effect that you're choosing is going to highlight on the screen to the corresponding color. So you can like crank up the pitch effect, turn the mix way down if you want. You could do increments. You could do increments with the encoder knob. Really easy. Let's back out, and then down here you're going to see options for foot switch assign and expression assign. So we tap on foot switch. This gives you custom controls of what the top effect foot switches are going to do. So let's say up here I got this lo-fi effect. I tap on that, and when I hit this certain foot switch number 1, I just want maybe the low pass filter to come on and not the vinyl or everything that's in there. You can assign it right there, back out, and then let's say I want this one to still be that lo-fi effect, but I just wanted to turn on that vinyl effect. Really easy, just tap on it right there, back out. So now these 2 foot switches will control that same effects rack, but turn on or off the assigned effects that you want. And as you can see here, super easy to do. Back out of here. At the bottom, you also get your expression assign. So let's see here. If I choose this one, I think I got some wacky stuff up here. Yeah, cool. So here, if I have an expression pedal connected, I can assign it to really control any effect inside of that rack that I assign it to. So let's see here, lo-fi. Now I can assign that expression pedal to any effect in here. So I'm just like, man, I really just want control of the delay feedback that's in that rack. Easy. Tap on it and then hit range, and you can tell it to go 0 to 100%, or if you like to fly goofy, you can turn this up to 100%, turn this down to 0%. Now you're rocking it goofy style. It'll just control backwards or any increment that you want in between. Get wacky. All right. So next menu here is simple. Is this your disk save or your save options? Save the loop, name it whatever you want. You have unlimited saves in this. So if you're a freak like me and just create 100 loops a day, go for it. Next is our ... menus. So here, obviously, you're going to get different selections than what you get on your pedal board and gig board, because this is a looper, so you know it's going to be different options. You got ones for audio routing, loop settings, backing tracks, importing and exporting loops, and then your global settings. We'll dive into that in detail here, but what I really am excited to show you is the back panel here, where you get the insane I/O. So let's jump to the back. So first things you're going to see here are the 4 inputs. They are quarter-inch and XLR inputs. The Looperboard also has phantom power, so if you have condenser mics, you can turn on the phantom power. Super easy to do. Let's go to global settings. Leaves on page 3. Kaboom! Turn your phantom power on. If you need some ground lift, on or off. And also, once we get to the output section, you can also choose it to be line or amp. Alrighty. And then next back here, you get your aux input. So let's say you have a MP3 player or a phone, and you just want to just play that on its own channel alone, just jam to it. You totally can. And then back here, if I'm right, yep, you get your headphone output. Easy, that's pretty straightforward. And then you get your output section here. You get 2 quarter-inch and 2 XLR outputs. And as you're going to see when we dive in, you can assign things to any channel you want. Next to there, you got your expression pedal control. As I went over in the effects section, connect any expression pedal here, control any effect that you want to assign to that, the whammies, wahs, delays, anything you want. And then over here, we get into our MIDI in and out and through. This is for connecting anything that's 5-pin MIDI. And right off the bat, this puppy is fully MIDI capable. So let's say you had some type of controller off to the side that uses 5-pin MIDI. you could assign any function in here, like the record, playback, panning functions, just go crazy. And then you also get your storage control. So as you see, it could take SD card and 2 thumb drive inputs. So if you need all the memory in the world, if you think you're going to loop for about a year straight, we got you covered. Totally cool. And then last is your regular USB computer connection. So this is for transferring loops back and forth from your computer, or doing firmware updates, which is really, really, really important. We even came out with a brand new one today. So if you're one of the lucky people out there to have a brand new Looperboard, go to our site, download a new firmware update, and get all the brand new capabilities are available today. And one more thing I want to touch on was with these thumb drive inputs. Let's say you only have a USB controller that doesn't have the 5-pin MIDI out. You can totally connect in like an MPK Mini or a V Mini or any type of controller, and you can assign those to also control any of the functions in here, such as record, pan, stop, effects, pans, things like that. It's pretty fun. So let's jump into the super powerful audio routing that we have here. So we got the ... menu, and let's go to audio routing. So the first thing you're going to see is input, and then a couple other menus for monitor, track, output. So input is exactly that. This is where I'm going to monitor my input level. So let's turn this back up to the normal world. So obviously, hit some guitar. You're going to see that level go up there. Piece of advice, if you really, really need like a big, thick audio wave, you want to get that signal as close to 0 dBs as possible. That's going to give you the biggest audio wave. Obviously, you don't want to go beyond that because it'll be clipping, kind of like in a DAW. And then below, you have your dry sends. So let's say you have a vocal connected, and you want to send that vocal off to just an external mixer where they're just going to do their own type of effects or anything like that. You can choose these options to send it out, whatever output that you want, and that'll be just that dry send without anything in here affecting it. You can also send it to headphones. Neat features here is that you could turn any channel a mono channel, or you can link the stereo channels. So it could be just 1, 2, and then 3 and 4 doing something mono. And same thing over here. Next, we have our monitor controls. So here is another place you can control your level of that. And then you can also assign where the inputs are going to go to for the outputs. So let's say I want input 1 to go to every single output, including headphones. You can do that. Or I just want channel 4 to go to output 3, and maybe just the headphones. Super easy to customize. Next, we got track. So this is where it gets really fun, and you get features that nothing out there has. It's mind-blowing. So here you also have your input controls, and this is where you're going to assign those inputs to the tracks. So let's say I have a pedal board connected, and it's a stereo output because I really want to record those stereo effects coming there. So I can take in input 1, 2, and assign it to track 1, 2, or just track 1. Turn these mono, turn them stereo. And then over here is where it gets really powerful, is with the click track. So the Looperboard has the most powerful click track routing of any looper out there. You can send the click out all the outputs, so all 4 in the back, including headphones. Or let's say you're jamming with a drummer, and you just want to send them to click to keep them really tight in the pocket. You can send it just the headphone outputs, either to straight to him or even to like a headphone monitor, and that could be split out to a whole band, whatever you need. And then below that, you have your backing track output. So you could assign that to just 1, 2, 3, 4 headphones, or none. Totally up to you. And then last, we have output. What does that control? Your output level. So you can easily turn things down or turn them up. Very simple controls. Because it's a touchscreen, it makes it that much easier to use. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at my computer. I'm going to see if anyone's got any questions going on. Any questions out there in the Facebook social worlds? Or is everyone just in awe of the brand new Looperboard? Let's see. We got some rolling in. See. I'm going to say STE Lancaster wants to know, can you play Doom on it? Oh, man. That's an amazing feature request. I think I know what you mean by Doom. I don't think you mean the old video game. I think you mean some good old Doom metal. Yeah, totally. If this thing has plenty of effects built in, and let's you know what? Let's dive into that right now. So I'm gonna make a new loop. Check this out, right? Go to effects, and since Mr. Lancaster brought up the Doom, let's get a little doomy. Why not? Let's hit plus. I got a guitar. I'm going to choose the guitar. But don't let this make you, just like, oh, I got a guitar. I only have to use guitar presets. There's no rules here. Let's say there's some cool stuff in the studio effects you've been playing around with the guitar and it gives you an amazing sound, or the vocal effects, or you're running vocal through guitar stuff. Go crazy. Use your imagination. It's music. So let's back out of that. So now, let's create a sound. So right now, it looks like it's on my preset for Brian bass. So I don't want that. So I'm going to just jump into something dirty right away, right? See what that gives up right off the bat. Oh yeah, let's turn on the effect, right? Let's back out. Let's see here. Aha! One thing I didn't explain. So with these effects, you can assign them to any input or track that you want. So obviously, I'm going in the back on input 1. I need to change that to input 1. What that's going to do is it's going to give me that effective sound right away. If I choose track, it's going to apply that effect to the track after I play it. But right now, I want that on. To me, that's a little doomy. But I know the Doom dudes out there sometimes don't want too much reverb or too much delay. Look how easy it is to turn it off. Done. So yes, to me, I think it can Doom. I think when people say Doom, it's really just a tuning. So tune really low and get doomy with it. Go crazy. But let's make another effect here. I'm going to choose guitar again. I got a guitar in my hand. Need to put it on track 1. Back out. Seems to really love my bass preset. So let's talk about that. So as you see, nothing is highlighted right now. So if I just play, it's just going to be straight guitar. There we go. But as I do with a lot of, at least this personal looping, I use it for songwriting. So I'll create like a drum loop, and then I'll do maybe a bass with that, because drum and bass go together, and then some guitar stuff. So I found a way on here to make what I think is totally usable bass sounds. So if I do this, I'm going to choose my amp first. You're going to see here, you see cabs, you can see some EQ settings, amp drives. So right out of the bat, it's much cleaner. And then you get all kinds of different cab settings. So you get your DI stuff, you get your Brit stuff, you get your different 210s up to 412s. And this is where it gets great. You get your bass, you get your 410 bass, and then you get a crazy radio sound, which is obviously not going to be very bassy. But if you want to get bassy, I've been really digging the 410. And then obviously it's not going to sound like a bass right away, but it's going to mold that sound. And now what I do is I turn on that whammy. And, I can do crazy stuff like, or bring it all the way down. Bassy. It's fun. If I had a mic connected, we could be doing the same thing, doing pitch effects, all kinds of bizarre stuff. I hope that answered the question in terms of doomy, and we dived into a little bit of effects stuff. Let's see what else we got going on. There we go. So Brian, I'm sorry if I'm going to say your name wrong, Varheli, wants to know, can the in and out configuration be different for each loop, or is it global? For each loop, so I'm going to try to think, like, do you mean by each track or just each new loop or rig that you make? So to help you out, it is totally global. So when it shows up in a different venue or anything, you can set your loops super quickly. So if you need to adjust it, like if you only have amps available and then it's a basement show, you got no PA, you can set it to that. Or you got a beautiful PA and you want to split things off, you could totally do that also. The in and outs are completely configurable on this. If you need me to show you again, go to track. You can send your inputs and your outputs anything you want. Same with your monitoring and your input dry signals. Hope that helps. All right, what else we got here? Hunter Carl. Looperboard looks amazing. Hey, thank you, man. I'm sure many people are curious. When is the next firmware update coming? Happy to answer that. Happy to answer that. Maybe I should have said that first at the beginning of the live stream. So I know there's a lot of you pedal boarders and gig boarders out there. We are absolutely working on a new update for those. We're really excited. And, you know, I don't want to spill the beans too quickly, but it's going to be super feature packed. You know, we've been getting a lot of feedback from you guys for months here, and it's going to be coming really, really, really soon. I'm not going to tell you exactly when because I don't want to spoil it, you know? Let's see here. What else we got? Oh, are we going to get new amps and models and effects with the new update? Absolutely. And is the MIDI going to be stronger? Absolutely. What else we got for questions? Can you set 4 start-stop buttons to fade in and fade out by default? Let me think about that for a second. I don't think you could do it the way you're talking about right now. The fade is actually triggered from the fade menu, but in terms of what we can do with this unit going into the future, that's a great idea. Great feature request because this is literally just Looperboard 1.0 right now. And as a lot of you HeadRushers out there know, you know, we keep on adding to the unit. We keep on expanding features. So that's already a great idea for the product being about 2 hours old. Heck yeah. What else we got here? I know a lot of people really want to know about firmware updates. Maybe I'll get into it a little bit later on, but I want to keep my job too. All right, so as more stuff comes in, I am going to dive into this a little bit more in depth. So let's jump into these menus. So I covered audio routing. Now let's talk about some loop settings. So let's tap on that. So right off the bat, you're going to see here, you get your tempo controls. So just like on the outside, you can change it with the encoder knob, or you can tap it right in. Easy. You get different time signatures. So you get everything down to 2/4 all the way up to 16/8 or 15/8, I mean. Sorry about that. And then you get your click settings. So as I already mentioned, the HeadRush Looperboard has the most powerful click track routing of any looper out there. But also, you can set the click track to only be on when you're recording. You can have it on when you're recording and playing. But keep in mind, it's not a bad thing if it's on the whole time because maybe you're just having it routed to just headphones. So while you're recording and playing and doing everything, it could be discreetly going to you. Pretty awesome. And it's probably great for drummers out there because I know sometimes you guys aren't perfect. And then you have your count in. So you can have the click count in for you from 1 bar all the way up to 4 bars. 4 bars is a huge amount of count in time, but hey, if you need it, we got it there for you. Top here, you get your quantize settings. So if you turn it on, you can set the loop length first from 1 bar all the way up to 64 bars, similar to a DAW. And then you could quantize on, where you could have it quantized to 1 bar all the way up to the 16th notes. So this is also very similar to a DAW. And to go in a little detail on that, so what that's going to do is going to quantize your beginning and end point. So let's say you hit record and you kind of missed that first beginning cue just a little, or you ended a little early. It's going to stretch those and bring them to the endpoints for you without tempo change or pitch change. It's amazing. And then obviously you got your time stretch settings, so you can have it sync to the audio to the tempo, and also have the time stretch on or off. I keep it on because sometimes I ain't perfect. It's cool. I'm a human. Next, let's keep on going down. So let's talk about backing tracks. So the Looperboard has a full backing track section. I almost look at it like a 5th channel in here, where you can just import a WAV file and you can have it play, stop, record on its own controls. It's awesome. So I know a lot of singer-songwriters out there use backing tracks. We got this feature built right in for you. Next, we got global settings. So let's jump into some of those. So we got 3 pages right off the bat. First thing you're going to see is your storage limit. It looks like I have about 8 hours and 42 minutes left. I think that's pretty good. But as you know, you can even expand that with the SD card and the USB thumb drive. And then you get your general settings. So we also had the start, stop, all. You could turn that to a return or pause. If you have a whole bunch of loops going and you want to hit stop, and when you go to hit start again, you want it to start from the very beginning, you could totally do it to return. Or when you hit stop and you want it to, when you come back to start it again and you want it to start right from that point you hit stop, you can just use the pause mode. You can totally do that. Then for after record, just like that, you can have it just play after you hit record, or you can have it just go right into overdub mode right away. Really easy to use, touch screen. Don't leave home without it. And then after bouncing, do you want to delete your bounce or keep the bounce? Totally up to you. And then your fixed mode recording. So you can have it for just all or solo. And then your default startup. So basically whatever screen you left off, it would start up on that screen. Went over to hold functions, but I'm going to cover those again since that was kind of at the beginning here. So to record, play dubs, you could make those peels or clears. And what I mean by that is if you hold down on the foot switch, it's either you could turn it into a peel, where it will peel layers off one by one, or completely clear the track for you. And you could also customize these top ones to stop undos. So if you hold down that foot switch, you can make it undo. And what that's going to do is it's going to undo your loops all the way from the last time you hit record, or also clear that track. So let's say you want these to be peels and these to be clears. You could totally do that. Or peels and undos, or if you just want to make sure you get a clear, you can turn both into clears if you want. All right, page 2. Here's your MIDI settings. So you can turn, obviously, MIDI receive on and off. The clock source, well, right now, I don't have anything connected, but you can make other clocking sources, so it'll clock to that, or you can make the Looperboard your master clock. And then the receive MIDI on or off. You can have omni channels and, there we go. And then USB audio. So just like the pedal board and gig board, you could turn this unit into a 2-in, 2-out USB audio interface. Pretty awesome. And then back out, there was one more page there. And then here, I think I showed this before, but you can have phantom power on or off, ground lift on or off, and also if you're just going straight out to a PA, you could do line. If you're going right to an amp, you could do amp, because those are different line levels, so you don't want to make sure you're not sending a signal that's way too hot to something. Great. I see a lot of questions coming in, so let's get to these. So, Brian again, Brian Varelli, asks, when using audio backing tracks, how many can I have loaded, and how easy and quick is it to access them? You can have a little over 9 hours of audio in your Looperboard. That's like 5.8 gigs at a time. So the number of tracks you have loaded at a time will depend on how long the tracks are loading. So if you got an audio track that's 5.8 gigs long, I guess you'll just be limited to that one track, but it sounds like it's a really long track. But from my experience, most songs that you're going to load are going to be around 12 megabytes. So do the math, because I'm bad at math, but that's a lot of tracks. Let's see here. Ha! Dylan, you're a nice dude. People say the board looks amazing, but so do I. I laugh out loud at that one. Let's see here. All right. So, guys, I'm going to wait for some more questions coming in here. Oh, I already got another one. What can you do with MIDI? Okay, more than happy to cover that again. So we got external MIDI controls here with the 5-pin MIDI. So you can receive MIDI clock from anything like drum machines. I know, well, actually, I'm really excited that with this new product, we're going to be opening ourselves up to a whole new range of musicians. I'm really excited about that. And we're very open to that. So there's a lot of synth guys out there, drum machine guys. You could totally hook in with 5-pin MIDI and clock off of that if you need to, or vice versa. Can loops be different lengths? Oh, of course. Absolutely. So let me jump back over here to the timeline view. So depending on the view, or actually I'm going to make a new loop so you can see them all. So we got fixed, serial, sync, and free. If you want every track to be a completely different length, or you want control of that, I would just pick free mode, and then you could literally just make anything different lengths. You could do similar things in sync and fixed. So sync, once you make your first track, all other tracks of that are going to be the same length of that, but you could also make it a multiple of length of that too. Hope that clears that up. Let's see here. Wow. Hope everyone's excited about this as I am. Seeing more people ask about firmware updates. Once again, yes, we are coming out with a new firmware update for pedalboard and gigboard. Really excited about it. Maybe I'll say a little secret at the end of this. Maybe I won't. Aha, cool. So I see people asking if this is a drum machine. It's very similar to a drum machine. But what I'm really excited about is that this unit comes with over 300 drum loops right out of the box. And it's really easy to access them. So on timeline view, you get import audio. Tap right on that. It's like, hey, where do you want to import from? I think it's doing this because I left it in USB audio mode, but let's double check. There we go. Yep. Silly me left USB audio on, so let me just fix that. I think because I told it to do two things at the same time, I might got to do a quick restart. So that's what I'm going to do. Whoop. There we go. And there he is, the beautiful starting screen, HeadRush Looperboard. Cool, fresh start. So like I was saying, if you want to import audio, tap on import audio, get your factory settings right there. So these are all the drum loops that come with the unit. You get brushes, ballads, doo-wop, reggae stuff. Let's go, keep going. Like pop rock, prog rock, chem beats, funk beats, and it just keeps going. One really, really important thing to notice is next to all these files is the number you get. So you see 90 here, and I think it's all in order. Yep, 100. So what this is the BPM that file is made at. So important thing is it's like, all right, so I'm going to import J-Rock 2, and that's at 100. You just want to make sure to set the tempo of that before you import it. There we go. And then I could tap on J-Rock 2, import, bam, there it is. So right now, that loop is in time with the session, but now that it is, you can now time stretch, change anything that you need. You just want to set the BPM beforehand. Let's go back into here, show you some more. You got metal stuff, swing stuff, world music, drums, folk music. So we've got every genre of music covered in here. Plus, when you have your USB audio stick connected or SD card, you can import anything from that into this timeline view. Super strong feature. All right, what do we got here? Yep, already talked about the factory loops, just did that. Can you select audio files with your feet, or do you need to use the touch screen? Right now, you got to use the touch screen, but I think there's a function here for foot switches. Let's take a look. So we get your bounce clear. I know you can import right from the screen. Backing tracks. See here. Oh, import. Oh, like a loop. Okay, I see what you're saying here. Yeah, you can totally load loops right there. So if you see the function button, then loop select, you can totally load loops. I thought you meant something from like a USB stick or something like that. Sorry about that. Great. So if there's more questions out there, I'm happy to answer them. But I think I covered a lot here. Do you want to maybe do a little bit of looping? That's what I'm thinking. I got my HeadRush team in front of me. Time to do a little looping for them. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, I've been playing around with a lot of fast rock beats, but sometimes I like to slow it down. So here we go. come back around. So you're gonna see here, I'm in sync mode. So you're gonna see me hit record and play buttons, but things aren't gonna happen until it starts. It's the mode I really like here. That's what we got for today. I hope everyone really liked what we're showing off today. We're really excited about it. HeadRush Looperboard is here. Go get you one. And as I do with all my live streams, I want to thank my brothers behind the scenes. We got C. Parlon. We got W. We got OT. We got J Quadra. And we got even more behind the scenes. I love you all. Love HeadRush. We got some amazing stuff coming up this year. And we got some firmware stuff coming. You know, maybe some EVH. I don't know. Hey, have a great day.